Hello, this is the fifth module for learning the important concepts of macroeconomics. In macroeconomics, we study the economic behavior of the economy as a whole by focusing our attention on aggregate measures such as total output, employment, and aggregate price level. And here we are interested in finding out how the levels of these aggregate measures are determined and how the levels of these aggregate measures change over time. And some of the important questions that are studied in macroeconomics are: what is the level of total output in the economy? How is the total output determined? How does the total output grow over time? And what are the reasons behind unemployment of resources? Why do prices rise? Thus, instead of studying the different markets as is done in microeconomics, in macroeconomics we try to study the behavior of aggregate or macro measures of the performance of the economy. And in the previous modules, you have learned what is meant by final goods, intermediate goods, consumption goods, capital goods, etc. Because, as I have mentioned earlier, there are many important terms and concepts that are to be taken into account while measuring national income. And first of all, you should know the meaning of the concepts. So here we are going to see the concept normal residence of a country and economic territory of a country. These two terms come while measuring national income through income method. So, how is national income measured? Through income method. The income method of measuring national income. According to this, national income is a sum total of factor income. Factor income is rent, wages, interest and profit earned by normal residents of a country through various economic activities in an accounting year. So, factor income includes rent, wages, interest and profit received by factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship of a nation. And how is it calculated? Compensation of employees plus operating surplus plus mixed income plus net factor income from abroad, or we can say domestic income plus net factor income from abroad. Compensation of employees plus operating surplus plus mixed income gives us domestic income plus net factor income from abroad gives us national income. While calculating national income by the three methods, we have to prove that the total income generated in the economy is equal to the total money value of the output is equal to total expenditure generated in the economy. That means value added method, income method and total expenditure method of national income should give the same value of national income. So, the sum of final expenditure in the economy must be equal to the income received by all the factors of production taken together. That is, the revenue earned by all the firms put together must be distributed among the factors of production as salary, wages, profit, interest, and rent. So, what is national income by income method? It is a sum total of factor income earned by normal residents of a country through various economic activities in an accounting year. It includes rent, wages, interest and profit received by factors of production like land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship of a nation. And economic activities in an accounting year in the economy happens in the four main sectors: consumption sector C, investment sector I, government sector G and external sector or rest of the world sector engaged in export and import, C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So, Now you should know the meaning of the term economic territory or domestic territory. What is economic territory or domestic territory? In common language, the domestic territory of a country is understood to mean political territory of a nation. But in economics, it refers to economic territory, which is a much wider concept than political territory. According to United Nations, economic territory is the geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods, and capital circulate freely. The above definition is based on the criterion freedom of circulation of people, goods, and capital. Those parts of the political frontier of a country where the government of that country does not enjoy the above freedom are not to be included in the economic territory of that country. Example, US Embassy in India is a part of economic territory of USA. Indian Embassy in USA is the economic territory of India. This concept is very important from domestic income point of view. All the economic activities conducted inside the domestic territory of a country are included in the domestic income of that country only. There are many examples for the concept of domestic territory of a country. What will be included in the domestic territory of India? Indian Embassy, consulates, military bases, etc. located abroad. Rent paid by the Indian Embassy located in London will be included in the domestic territory of India. The salary of the officials of Indian embassies located abroad is paid by the Indian government. Ships, aircrafts, etc. owned by Indian residents and operated by them between two or more countries are included in the domestic territory of India. Fishing vessels, oil and natural gas rigs, etc. operated by the Indian residents in the international water bodies where the country has exclusive rights are included in the domestic territory of India. So this way, there are many examples which will be given in the next module in detail. So what is economic territory or domestic territory? It is different from geographical territory. It is a wider concept. As the definition is given there, it is a geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods and capital circulate freely. Government of India does not enjoy the above freedom in the foreign embassies located within India. So these are not treated as a part of economic territory of India. They are treated as part of economic territories of their respective countries. Ships and aircrafts owned and operated by normal residents between two or more countries. For example, Indian ships moving between China and India regularly are part of domestic territory of India. Similarly, the planes operated by Air India between Russia and Japan are part of domestic territory of India. So this way, the term domestic territory is a wider concept than the political territory. Another example, Indian consulates abroad. Consulate means it is an office or building used by the officer commissioned by the government to reside in a foreign country to promote the interest of the country to which he belongs. So if Indian consulate abroad means the officers are appointed by the government of India to promote the interest of the country. It is included in the domestic territory of India. Next important term is factor income or factor payment and transfer income or transfer payment. Income earned by factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, by rendering their productive services in the production process. It is called factor income or factor payment. This income is received by the factors of production by rendering their productive service. It is a bilateral concept. It is included in national income as it contributes in the flow of goods and services. Example again, rent, interest, wages or salary and profit. But transfer income or transfer payment, they are income received without rendering any productive service. It is a unilateral concept, one-sided. It is not included in national income, old age pension, scholarship, unemployment allowance, etc. And there are two types of transfers, current transfers and capital transfers. Current transfers means the transfers made from the income of the payer and added to the income of the recipient for consumption expenditure. It is recurring or regular in nature. Scholarship is the example, or old age pension. So what is capital transfer? They are transfers in cash and in kind for the purpose of investment to the recipient. It is non-recurring. That means they are not regular in nature. Example, investment grant, war damages, etc. Next term is normal resident. A normal resident is one whose center of economic interest lies in the economic territory of the country in which he or she lives. Now you know the meaning of economic territory. Economic interest means that he or she carries out all his economic activities such as production, consumption and investment in that country. The resident lives within the economic territory for more than 1 year. A normal resident, whether a person or an institution, is one whose center of economic interest lies in the economic territory of the country in which he or she lives. The center of economic interest implies two things. The resident lives or is located within the economic territory for more than 1 year, and the resident carries out the basic economic activities of earning, spending, and accumulation from that location. There is a difference between the terms normal resident and citizen. A person becomes a national of a country because he was born in the country or on the basis of some other legal criterion. A person is treated resident of a country on the basis of economic criterion. It is not necessary that a resident must also be the national of that country. Even foreigners can be the residents if they pass the above stated economic criterion. For example, a large number of Indian nationals have settled in USA, England, Australia, etc. as residents and not as nationals of these countries. For India, they are non-resident Indians, NRI, but continue to remain Indian nationals. The following are not included under the category of normal residents. Foreign visitors in the country for purposes such as recreation, holiday, medical treatment, study tour, conferences, sports events, business, etc. They are supposed to stay in the host country for less than 1 year. In case they continue to stay for 1 year or more in the host country, they will be treated as normal residents of the host country. Now, crew members of foreign vessels, commercial travelers, and seasonal workers in the country. For example, foreign workers who work part of the year in the country in response to the varying seasonal demand for labor and return to their households, and border workers who regularly cross the frontier each day or somewhat less regularly, maybe each week, to work in the neighboring country, are the normal residents of their own country. For example, Nepal. Now, officials, diplomats, and members of the armed forces of a foreign country, they are not included under the category of normal residents. So, international bodies like World Bank, World Health Organization, or International Monetary Fund are not considered residents of the country in which these organizations operate, but are treated as residents of international territory. But the staff of these organizations are treated as normal residents of the country in which the international body operates. For example, international body like World Health Organization located in India is not normal resident of India, but Americans working in its office for more than a year will be treated as normal residents of India. More explanation of this term, normal resident and economic territory, will be done in detail in a simpler way in the coming modules. Whatever points I have explained will be given as notes. In this module, I have just explained the concept. While measuring national income by income method, you are coming through certain important terms like factor income, then normal resident, economic territory, and it will be explained in detail in the coming module. Thank you.